President Joe Biden hasn't yet made it official to saying that he's running for president in 2024. And there still has a lot of people out there in the Democrat space speculating that there could be other candidates. Already one's announced. Marianne Williamson, I think, is that her name? She's like a self-help type of professional and writes books. And she ran several years ago in the Democratic primary. Well, she's going to give it another go. And that's seemed to kind of give it an open salvo of sorts for others who may want to throw their hat in the ring. One of those that's been speculated is our governor, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, and he was asked about this on CBS over the weekend on Face the Nation, and he was asked in particular about a recent national headline that was shared across the nation dealing with Pritzker and the Democrats and the White House. And here's a bit of the line of questioning from Face the Nation on Sunday.
I want to get something out of the way. New York Times is a big feature on you, calling you the Democrats' SOS candidate, saying you're keeping your options open for a presidential run in 2024 in case Biden doesn't run. Is that true?
No, I'm supporting Joe Biden. He's running for re-election, and he's going to get reelected. I'm just, happy that people think of me in that way. That's certainly very flattering, but I intend to serve out my term as governor of Illinois.
Because you are, according to CBS reporting, potentially serving on an advisory board to the president if he does run for re-election. You might have heard Joe Manchin, who just told us that it was kind of an open question as to who would be running. He said, let's see who all the players are. He didn't endorse the president. That surprise you?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It does surprise me a bit. I will say that Joe Biden has an awful lot that he gets to run on here. He's gotten a tremendous amount done for the country, saved literally hundreds of thousands of lives by making sure that vaccines were distributed. He passed legislation in a bipartisan fashion. We got the IRA, which is going to help us fight climate change, infrastructure, which is helping everybody across the country, the Chips and Science Act, which is going to help us bring manufacturing back to the United States, and what is Joe Biden's superpower, and that is he demonstrates empathy in everything that he does. He truly cares about the American people.
So again, that's Governor J.B. Pritzker on CBS's Face the Nation being asked about a New York Times article hinting that Pritzker might be eyeing being the Secretary of State for a Biden administration if Biden announces and wins re-election in 2024. So we'll see how that all plays out with any kind of Democratic primary that there may be, if there is indeed one. So who do you think else should jump in on the Democrat side? But what about the Republican side? You've got Donald Trump having already announced. You've got Ron DeSantis touring the country on a book, promoting that book, but not explicitly saying that he's going to run. But you've got others that the names are being brought up from, Tim Scott to even Nikki Haley already announcing and several other candidates. So, what's going to happen there? But what was interesting is on Friday you had CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee, and they had a poll, and Donald Trump won that poll. But Donald Trump's got a whole slew of other things that he's got circling around him, from potential lawsuits to criminal charges that could surface. Who knows what Democrats are going to try to throw at Donald Trump to derail him. And I think that they're going to try to throw everything they can to derail him because he's coming to the table with some really big ideas. Here's the former president talking about how he wants to bring about policies for what he calls a quantum leap for trying to change the country and moving forward with some things he says should be a focus for future generations.
Almost 1/3 of the landmass of the United States is owned by the federal government, with just a very, very small portion of that land, just a fraction, 1/2 of 1%. Would you believe that? We should hold a contest to charter up to 10 new cities and award them to the best proposals for development. In other words, we'll actually build new cities in our country again. These freedom cities will reopen the frontier, reignite American imagination, and give hundreds of thousands of young people and other people, all hardworking families, a new shot at home ownership and, in fact, the American dream. Another big opportunity is in transportation. Dozens of major companies in the United States and China are racing to develop vertical takeoff and landing vehicles for families and individuals. Just as the United States led the automotive revolution in the last century, I want to ensure that America, not China, leads this revolution in air mobility. These breakthroughs can transform commerce, bring a giant infusion of wealth into rural America, and connect families in our country in new ways. Likewise, through our Strategic National Manufacturing Initiative, which is going to be very big and very, very successful, we will turn forgotten communities into hives of industry, producing the goods we will no longer import from China. We will also have a major initiative on lowering the cost of living with a special focus on lowering the cost of a new car and lowering the cost to build a single-family home.
He goes on to talk about making sure that they cut down on Chinese imports of material goods that are important to everyday life in the United States, and a whole host of other things. So interesting to hear, the former president wanting another shot at the White House, laying out some pretty bold ideas, having 10 freedom cities and like some kind of a contest of sorts. You could see that being turned into like a game show. But then also flying cars. Is that really going to be a platform to look at trying to regain the White House? So, yeah, there's going to be some interesting things popping up here and there, and we'll definitely be talking about it from time to time. But getting your thoughts is always encouraged as well, where you can chime in at 217-629-7970, or you can email me, bishoponair@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter. Just search Bishop on Air. You can find me on YouTube, Bishop on Air. Really, everywhere. Just search Bishop on Air. All right, got to take a break and come back, wrap up this Monday